So hello, welcome back to a little bit of Suzerain. We're trying to find out, is there a secret spy, a secret Rumburgian spy in Sword? It's quite possible, So, the affair. So right now, basically, Peter is in a bit of a conundrum. He has been sleeping with our secretary, and our secretary may or may not be a spy. Not great for our vice president to be in that kind of situation. But several days have passed since I ordered the investigation into my secretary, Livia Suno. Both Peter and Livia have been acting unnaturally nice to me, believing I let them off the hook for their affair. They seem to be avoiding each other in the hallways, though. I was just settling in behind my desk when Lucien knocked on my door. Sir, moment of your time. Of course. Lucien entered my office and closed the door behind him. Our security team traveled to Lock Haven to speak with the owner of the pub Miss Suno named. They confirmed that Livia Suno had worked there. The description of her did not match that of your secretary. However, it did match up to that of an unidentified corpse that washed up in Leckenberg Bay 2 months before your inauguration. Are you sure about this? Here, it's all in the report from our intelligent officers. Further investigation by our operatives in Rumburg matched Miss Suno's description to a woman named Leah Vance, last seen graduating from Krimsrad Political Sciences Institute. Our whistleblower from Rumburg recognized the name Vance as belonging to a deeply embedded covert agent, although he had previously assumed it was a man. Okay. How could we have missed all of this? As mentioned, Miss Suno was hired without a background check. It's possible this all could have been avoided, had any of Mr. Vectron's blood flowed directly to his brain when he selected her. But none of that can be helped now. The question is, what are you going to do, sir? I mean, we've got to arrest her for espionage, no? I'm going to have Peter castrated. I'm going to murder them both. I mean, we've got to arrest her, right? Arrest her for espionage, of course. That would be standard procedure. However, if we do, it's only a matter of time before the media pieces together what happened. Okay, Marcel on it. We do have Marcel, that is true. Outwitted by a woman, it won't look that good. What if I get Marcel on it? Asking Mr. Confront to help would be advisable, but you'll still have to deal with a fair amount of crisis management yourself. Starting by letting Peter Vectron take the fall. I mean, we have to, right? No, Peter did wrong. Look, okay, that's a non-starter. Okay. This is as much my fault as it was his. I should have suspected something. You can share the blame, but you have to prepare for the public opinion to nosedive. Thankfully, Mr. Confront can soften that blow, but please take a moment to think about this. Mr. Vectron put you in danger by failing to order a background check on your closest personal staff. He betrayed your confidence to a woman with whom he was committing adultery. Anton, would you do the same to your so-called best friends? No, I would not. Lucien sighed. I am your chief strategist, and I advise you on what I believe is the best strategy. But of course, the ultimate decision is yours. What's your opinion on Peter? Apparently, Citizen Discord is full of hot takes about him. He's kind of an asshole, isn't he? Suzerain subreddit. I mean, I wouldn't have made him vice president, that's for sure. Like, maybe he could be like secretary of not education, of like maybe transportation. Secretary of the beer cabinet. It's an idea. The whiskey cabinet. I mean, Peter's not a scapegoat. He did do it. He's not, he did do it. He's not a scapegoat. Very well. I should consult with our friend, Mr. Confront, and write a statement for you to read at the press conference. I'll leave you to handle Miss Vance. Thank you. Thank you, Lucien. I called Carl Gressner from my desk and explained the situation. After a few minutes, I rang for Livia. She entered my office. Is there something you need, Mr. President? It's been a pleasure working with you. Please sit down. A barely perceptible flash of fear crossed her face. She sat. Why do you call me in here, sir? I nodded towards my office doorway. Carl Gressner was standing there along with 2 of his guards, blocking the entrance. Elana Vance, you're under arrest for suspicion of espionage. Please come with me. Her arms darted around the room. What the hell is going on? Mr. President, have you let Lucien get into your head? I thought you were smarter than that. I mean, I'm sorry I had to come to this. If you thought I wouldn't trust my closest advisor, you're the stupid one. Carl's men grabbed her arms, being and dragging her out. No, no, you can't do this to me. Peter heard her cries, rushing out of his office. Liv, what the hell? Anton, what's going on? Tell Peter who you really are, Livia. I won't say another word without my lawyer present. Except this. You're sad. You're an old, sad drunk in a lousy lay. Honestly, if I were a Rumberg spy, I barely have to do a thing. You two have Sordland's right for the taking. She straightened up, ran her hand through her curls, and allowed Carl to lead away. Peter sank to the floor in front of me. Anton, what the hell just happened? Come to my office. You're making a scene out there. Once Peter was in my office, I shut the door and explained everything Lucy had told me about Livia. And you believed him? Well, better safe than sorry, especially after what she called me. Why does nobody believe Lucy? Like, didn't he just like give me hard evidence? Like, didn't he give me like documents? At least we finally have an ordeal behind us. Let's get on with running the country, shall we? Actually, I have to tell you something. What is it? You look like shit. No, I want you to resign. Peter looked at me. His expression was numb. I guess I deserve this, don't I? Yes, your philandering put us all in danger. He exhaled slowly. I could see tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, Anton. I was never cut out for this job. So you did great. Sordland's just not ready for a vice president like you. It was fun while it lasted. Sure was, old buddy. Stay for a drink. Without waiting for him to answer, I poured some whiskey into a glass. Peter grabbed the bottle instead. To new beginnings. He drank a third of the bottle in one long swig, then got to his feet and unsteadily made his way to the door. I knew this was for the best, but I hoped my friend would be alright. Okay, we got a security breach. I'm assuming that's going to be in the red. Yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable position to put us at. The morning sunlight streamed through the windows as Lucy and I entered the White Room. I sat down. Lucy remained standing. I'm afraid I won't be able to join you for our meeting today, sir. The business surrounding the Livia Suno affair is taking up all of my time at the moment. He dropped a thick folder in front of me. I was hoping to go over the day's agenda with you before your cabinet members began arriving, but duty calls. He walked out. I took a look at the folder in front of me, then at the coffee carafe? I actually never know how to say this. In the corner of the room. I walked over and poured myself a cup. I wonder when my new secretary would start work. Internal Affairs was first on the list of items. Lilas and Nia, along with their close staff, joined me around the table. Lias cast an eye around the room. No new secretary yet? I hope this means that Mrs. Suno's replacement is getting an extremely thorough background check. Needless to say, such an egregious breach of security should be met with harsh consequences. But you know that already. Shall we begin? Yes, please do. Please do. Mr. President, I want to congratulate you again on your historic accomplishment for Bloods of Sordland. And thank you for approving my plan for the relocation of the special zone. Nia averted her gaze. The internal security structure of Berge has already been dismantled. Part of local forces will be integrated into the Swordlish police force. The governor position has been abolished. In the next election, each town will elect its own mayor, as is in the rest of Sordland. And now you, Miss Graf, will have complete control over the region's security. As I should, Miss Morgana. I'm the Minister of the Interior, after all. In any case, now that the governor is gone, this will hopefully prove to be a huge step for British rights in the region. I hope we can achieve a true reconciliation between our people. She sighed. Frankly, I'm disappointed in your lack of faith in the administration. I'm sorry, Mr. President. I'm just reporting on the current situation. Well, we'll keep it brief, but I think that will be all for our Internal Affairs update. She gathered her documents. See you later, Mr. President. Why was Nia even here? She showed up just to sigh at me? Simon came into the room shortly afterwards. Mr. President, where's the Vice President today? That's confidential, Mr. Hole. Understood. Simon's expression remained unchanged as he sat down to face me. I just wanted to provide you with a few updates on the economy. You may have noticed that the government budget is in need of a boost. I've doubled, or halved, depending on how you want to look at it, our budget. Going pretty well, I would say. Like, look, Simon, have you seen the graph? We started at 1 bar, and now we're at 3 bars. We've tripled... No, yeah, we tripled the economy. That's a 200% increase. But Mr. President, if you just look from all time... Look, shut up, Simon. You don't know shit. Just look here. The line's gone up. Sit your ass down and listen. I know what's best for Sordland. My ministry is therefore working on a bill that will raise the tax on tobacco products from 10 to 30%. A similar bill is being drafted to introduce a 20% tax on alcohol. In addition to bringing in new needed revenue, the new laws would curb excessive drinking and smoking in Sordland. Okay, well, very good. They're nasty vices anyways. Ordinarily, I advise against this kind of thing, but with our budget dipping into the red, any measure that would reverse our deficit is worth considering. Thankfully, tourism in Sordland is on the rise, so we can expect to see a healthy stream of income there. Our investment in cultural preservation has paid off, it seems. Why wouldn't tourism be skyrocketing? Sordland is the best country in the world. I've never quite understood why anybody would want to vacation in Sordland when Lesbia is right there, but I suppose our country has a certain charm. There was a knock at the door. Gust's manager strolled in and grabbed a seat. Mr. President, Simon. Some excitement around the palace lately, I've heard. Just don't worry about it, Gus. Focus on your job. Don't worry about it, Gus. Just focus on your job for now. I'm sure you're handling it very well. Anyway, everyone has shit to say to me. You both know how revitalizing the Gruny region has always been a project of mine of sorts. Well, thanks to the effort of my ministry and the funding allocated by the president, Gruny is looking stable these days. Stable? That's it? Gus shrugged. It's far from the massive surge in economic growth that I had hoped to see, but I still believe the area has a wealth of untapped potential. If we seize every possible opportunity to invest in Gruny now, we can see positive results within our term. Okay, I mean... you know, keep at it. I know what such Gruny means to you. I don't even know what Gruny is. I think is it this one here? Not just to me, Mr. President. It's the breadbasket of this nation. I'll be on the lookout for further opportunities to invest in the region. The door to the White Room opened slowly, and David made his way in. Hello, gentlemen. I'm early again, aren't I? Not to worry, Mrs. Visky. We are just about wrapping things up. While we're both here, we may as well talk about the economic impact of our recent alliance. A wise idea, Mr. Hole. Our new partnership is not without its consequences. As you may recall, almost immediately after we sealed our alliance with Lesbia, Vaxland imposed strict tariffs upon us in retaliation. The fallout won't impact our economy right away, but I do expect a significant hit before the end of the term. Fortunately, I believe any short-term economic harm imparted by these tariffs will be offset by the alliance's long-term benefits. You know what? I trust your wisdom, David. I fully expect our partnership with Lesbia to pay off. Casey's already taken notice and is planning on sending us a generous aid offer. Although I've heard that the aid will be military in nature, which raises questions about their real motivations. Hello, Zach. How are you? They're clearly gauging our interest in joining the ATO, which, from a purely financial standpoint, would be a great move. We'll leave you to your meetings, gentlemen. My regards to Mr. Vectrin. Okay, thank you, Simon. Thank you. Simon and Gus rose from their seats and left the room. After the door closed, David regarded me for a second. His blue eyes seemed to see right through me. Things are going pretty okay, I would say. Okay. My ministry is notified about the Rumburgian infiltrator. This is a very delicate situation, Anton. I mean, I understand. You don't have to tell me that. Please understand. Tension between Sordland and Rumburg have not eased. Quite the contrary. As you might imagine, our decision to grant asylum to the whistleblower, Mr. Hailstone, did not sit well within the kingdom. An incident such as this might serve as a tipping point. Place too much blame on Rumburg, and we may lose our chance at reconciliation. I mean, again, we don't want war, but I can't just do nothing. You know what I mean? What if we like arrest her, but under like different? We don't blame Rumburg. Just, you know, she was just doing other stuff. She was spying. You know what? She was spying for Vaxland. Now we're thinking. She's a commie. We put her in the secretary position. Make no sense. A compromise in the name of the greater good may spare countless lives. I'll leave it you to it, Anton. I know you've got a lot on your plate. We'll talk soon. David left the White Room, gently closing the door behind him. Fantastic. So what do you got going over in Erzin? Okay, synergy between Gruny and Bergia. A high degree of economic synergy is being observed between the regions of Gruni and Bergia. A series of strategic investments, coupled with increased economic interaction, has facilitated this alignment. The synergy is not only bolstering the economies of both regions, but also promising long-term growth potential and stability. We love stability. Look at this. Line goes up. I think it's gotten even better. Yeah, look at this. Look at the graph. We're stonking. Okay, what's going on? Okay, more football news. 3-0, 4-2. Okay, football. United Katana discovers Arcasian base in Polaris. In a startling revelation, a UC satellite has uncovered a massive Arcasian military base in Polaris, strategically positioned within bomber range of United Katana. This unexpected development has sparked a strong response from United Katana, with government officials threatening to establish a naval base on the continent in response. The base, equipped with advanced weaponry and communication facilities, represents a significant escalation in Arcasian military presence in the region. Analysts believe that this move could be part of a broader strategy to exert influence and safeguard Arcasian interest. The unveiling of the base and the ensuing reaction significantly amplified the existing tensions between these two great superpowers, further complicating diplomatic relations. Observers are now watching closely for potential retaliatory actions and further strategic maneuvers. Wouldn't it be like so funny if there's like a 1% chance in your Suzerain game that United Katana and Arcasia just nuke each other and your game just ends? It's like, sorry, they decided to nuke each other over some random place. That can actually happen, can it? I'm just making shit up. I was just making it up. Hello, Sordland. How are you? It was the morning of Livia's trial. The hordes of reporters were gathering in front of the state courthouse. Peter, Lucien, and I stood up at the entrance. Lucien had helped break the news of my secretary's arrest. Now the media was beginning to question exactly how a Runeberg agent had been able to infiltrate the Maroon Palace. It was time for me to deliver an explanation. A podium with a bank of microphones awaited us on the courthouse steps. Peter looked uncertain. I had told him I would be doing all of the talking today. Remember what we talked about, Mr. President? If you make certain choices, you can start a nuclear war. That's fantastic. But I know I'm talking about like I'm talking about like a situation where your choices don't matter, right? It'd be like if in the Cuban Missile Crisis, you know, the Soviet Union and the US nuked each other, but you were playing theoretically as like, you know, Senegal. Nothing you could have done to change the outcome here. You're just going to get nuked. Sorry, buddy. It's over for you. How could I forget? I was able to blame my best friend for a scandal that would otherwise shatter my administration. Peter hasn't said a word to me since I broke the news to him in my office. Together, we stepped behind the podium. The reporters clustered around us and started shouting questions. Thank you for coming. As you are aware, Livia Suno, former secretary of the President of Sordland, is currently being tried for espionage. Traitor will be brought to justice. Let's not antagonize Runeberg, because again, I don't want it. I want to try to avoid the war if possible, because I don't want to die. Rest assured, a security breach of this magnitude shall never happen again. However, the fact remains that she should never have been able to be allowed to infiltrate our administration in the first place. She did that by exploiting the weakness of Vice President Peter Vectrin. Journalist gasped and murmured. Peter turned to face me, his mouth hanging open. His recklessness. Maybe we're throwing Peter a bit too much under the bus. Mr. Vectrin's recklessness, to say nothing of his betrayal of Swordage values, has disgraced my administration. Like, we're not going to trial him. Therefore, the Vice President has tendered his resignation, effective immediately. The clamor of reporters were growing louder. Peter seemed to shrink behind the podium, his charisma failing him at last. That's it then. No going back from this. I don't like how your only option are hard if you blame Peter. The reporters were becoming hard to ignore. One woman in the front row looked particularly insistent. Mr. Vectrin! You know what? Let Peter take the question. Can you please give us a comment on your resignation? No. President Rayne just about covered it. I'm a terrible vice president and a worse husband and a sad old drunk. Maybe I should not have let him answer the question. Are you implying that you and a covert agent posing as President Rayne's secretary were engaged in an intimate relations? Relations, yes. Intimate, I thought so at the time. Lucian interjected. Neither the president or vice president will be taking any more questions. Thank you, thank you. The reporters reluctantly dispersed. Lucian, Peter, and I looked at each other for what seemed like an eternity. Finally, Peter lowered his eyes. I guess I'll go to the palace and start packing my things then. I'll come with you. Peter shook his head. I watched him descend the courthouse steps in his car alone. A shame about your friend, Mr. President, but it appears that you will make it out of this unscathed. Of course, there's not a matter of replacing both your secretary and your vice president. A few candidates in mind. Very good, sir. He's been playing the long con. I don't want to make him vice president, though. I think it's much funnier if he doesn't do anything. He's a good head of my, you know, advisor group, whatever you want to call it. I don't know who let's make my wife vice president. That's an idea. We'll be like 1980s Romania or something like that. Breaking news from the Maroon Palace. Actually, I don't know if his wife was vice president, but you know what I mean. Breaking news from the Maroon Palace. President Secretary Livia Suno has been revealed to be a spy from Rumberg. More details are forthcoming, but it appears the agent, whose real name is not yet known, managed to get past the palace staff, stringent background checks, and obtain confidential information from within the Rayne administration. The president has taken swift and decisive action to remove her from her position and bring her to justice. President innocent in spy scandal. At a press conference in front of Haldesword State Courthouse, President Anton Rayne vindicated himself in the recent Maroon Palace intelligence leak. He revealed that Vice President Peter Vectrin was responsible both for hiring the Rumberg spy, Ilana Vance. I don't know how the fuck Sordland today got her name. I didn't tell him. aka Presidential Secretary Livia Suno, and disclosed sensitive information to her. Thankfully, with the arrest of Vance and removal of Vectrin from office, Sordland's government is secure once more. Hey, Livia Suno, Secretary to President Anton Rayne, was arrested yesterday following an investigation that revealed her to be a covert agent from Rumberg. Her trial is scheduled to begin in the next several days. In the meantime, the question of how an enemy spy was able to infiltrate the Moon Palace on such a high level remains. President Rayne has announced that he will soon be holding a press conference to address the potential brewing scandal. Faced with an intelligent leak that could irreparably damage the administration, Anton Rayne passed the buck to hapless VP Peter Vectrin, who was forced to resign during the press conference on the courthouse steps today. He accused Vectrin of hiring presidential secretary and Rumberg spy Livia Suno without proper background check, even hinted that the two were carrying on an affair. Sorry, one sec. His dismissal of Vectrin may satisfy some, but we are duty-bound to get to the bottom of this scandal. Okay. I mean, he did do it radical. I'm not passing the buck. If you see a deer and it's got big antlers, by God, it's a buck. Okay? And let me just tell you, Peter has got some of the biggest antlers I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Okay, it's time. Let's get a new vice president here. It was here, the day I was dreading since Peter's resignation. At the entrance to my office, my new secretary, Sylvia, took my hat and coat. She was a matronly woman in her 40s. She had spotted this background check assisting various Maroon Palace officials. Replacing Livia had been easy. Replacing my vice president would be difficult. She doesn't even have, like, a name. Sylvia doesn't even get, like, a little icon. She's so meaningless in the grand scheme of things. Source law dictated that if a vice president failed to complete his term, new candidates were to be put forward by the members of the cabinet. After much deliberation, the list had been narrowed down to 3. Lucien Gallade was a frontrunner, followed by Gloria Torrey and Albin Clavin. It was up to me to decide who would fill Peter's shoes. I wanted to chat with each of them one-on-one for making my decision. It had just begun to settle on my desk when I heard a knock at the door. Lucien entered and perched on the chair across from me. Sir? Okay, Lucien, you're one hell of a strategist. But why should I make you vice president? It is precisely in my capacity as a strategist that I've elevated the experience and capabilities of your potential vice president. Objectively, I am by far the most qualified candidate. I would advise you not only to think about our long history together, but also the many crises that I have helped shepherd you through. I won't speak much beyond that. I believe my work speaks for itself. The public might gossip about your lack of wife. You wanted Peter's job from day one. How do I know you won't try to have me ousted next? Mr. Veteran proved himself unfit for the position with his selfish and unprofessional behavior. I'm counting on you not to do the same. I mean, that's what he's basically saying is that if he does think that I am being unprofessional and selfish, he will try to overthrow me. Right? Like that's what he's saying. That is what he is saying. I expect you will make the right decision. He left my office. Just a minute later, there was another knock at the door and Gloria Tori came in. Mr. President, I must say that I'm not surprised at all when my name was put forward. So, Gloria, tell me why I should pick you. To put it simply, what I bring to the table is years of experience. I've been a member of the Assembly for almost 20 years, and I've spent 7 as its Speaker. This alone speaks for itself. And as you know, I am also the spokesperson of the party, as well as the leader of the Conservative wing. You can see what I'm getting at. Tell me, what are you getting at? Well, I will be blunt. Being the leader of the Conservative wing means that if I am Vice President, we will get a lot more votes. This will allow us to pass bills far more easily, especially bills that are aligned to my block's causes. I will think about it. I want you to know that I value order over everything else, Mr. President. Being the Speaker of the Assembly requires principles. Nerves like steel and determination to uphold proper conduct. You can expect to see the same in my Vice Presidency. You being a woman could prove advantageous. Not just any woman, a strong woman, who was able to protect order in the room of unruly men for 7 years. Think about what it would send. The first woman Vice President in Sordland. No! The first woman Vice President in the whole continent. What support you will lose among traditionalists, you would gain tenfold among Swordish women. There's much to gain from selecting me, Mr. President, and I believe you'll make the right choice. I would like to hear anybody in chat right now. Who do you think we should choose for our Vice President? You're right. There's much to gain. I'll consider it. I knew you'd see reason. I wish you see a nice day, Mr. President. Gloria made her way out. A minute later, there was another knock at the door. This time, it was Albin Clavin's turn. Greetings, Mr. President. It's a real great honor that I've been chosen as a candidate. Really terrific. I will be straightforward. Why should I pick you? As you know, I represent the reformist wing of the party. What Sordland needs today is not just to only catch up with our more modern neighbors, but surpass them. I believe we can do that. No, I am sure. However, this will only be possible if we set aside our differences and unite as one. That is the outlook I wish to bring to the position of Vice President, so that Sordland can excel and soar to new heights. I did not ask for your opinions. What can you provide me with? Very well. The fact is, if I'm Vice President, reformist members of our party will be more likely to support you and your causes. This will smooth the passage of bills and help move our administration of our country forward in record time. Makes sense. Makes sense. And now what this country needs is a more dynamic, youthful leadership. Look at you, President Rayne. You became the youngest member of the Assembly and completely rejuvenated Swordish politics. I want to do the same. We need to be able to take risks to make gains, and it's only possible with a forward-looking perspective. There, I've stated my case. I trust your judgment. Thank you. I will consider what you said. Thank you, Mr. President. Albin got up and left. I leaned back in my chair, thinking about the pros and cons of each of my vice presidential candidates. I can almost hear Peter's voice in my head, laughing at the absurdity of the situation. But of course, he wasn't here. His support is conditional. I always go with Gloria. I mean, Q Fabus saying Gloria. Is this a reformist run? I mean, we've passed our constitution. The constitution has been changed, and we did go for the reformists, but Albin didn't want to support me. He would only support me if I made him vice president. So it's like he voted. I don't know if he voted with me. It doesn't actually give me the numbers on that. But he basically told me to go fuck myself, and then now he's like, you should make me vice president anyways. If I was going to make you vice president, I would have just promised you that to earn your votes before. Like, I do see Gloria being an interesting choice for sure. Gloria's who I'd pick. So we got Mike and Q Fabus. So I mean that's 2-0 for and one on YouTube and one on Twitch. So you know that's a diversity of opinions. You can also promise in the VP slot and then I'll give it to him. I mean that's true. That is true.